Yeah, I love horror films. I love Friday the 13th.
All right, well, congratulations, those who walk away hitting theaters for Los Angeles and New York this weekend. It looked like a lot of hard work. First of all, you really notice the long tracking shots. I mean, as an actor, as a filmmaker, those are pretty hard to pull off, right?
Yeah, they certainly are. I mean, when we started looking at pulling this off, you start looking at references and Children of Men and Touch of Evil and these just fantastic one shots, in film history, and then you start to realize, well, those are 4 minutes long, and what we're setting out to do is much longer than that. And it came with its own set of unique challenges, but yeah, we did it, and we managed to make a horror film at the same time, and yeah, and I think we're all kind of sitting back looking at watching it on the big screen, being like, yeah, somehow we did that.
And from the actor's perspective, Booboo, what was it like for you? I'm sure, I mean, you have to learn lines and not screw up in the take. I mean, I'm not an actor, but damn, that's hard.
Yeah, no, very, very intimidating. Extremely intimidating, like getting in, saying like, yes, let's do it. And then actually like day one, like, okay, now I have to start memorizing this entire movie. Here we go. I remember I was in my studio with one of my friends, and he had come over, and I was just, because I like to memorize lines when I don't like put too much pressure on memorizing the lines. I just like to kind of say them and one line at a time, just kind of get into the groove. And he came over, and at that point I had memorized like a big part of the script, and I'd be like painting and drawing, and he would be doing the script with me. just to be like, because in this film, I guess looking back, it was probably really great like prep. I didn't think about it like this, but just in the sense of there were so many cues on top of memorizing lines, being in the right place at the right time, you're making sure you're not stacking your other actor, just all these little things that you do in a 30-second scene that you're now doing for a very long time. So yeah, a lot of challenges.
Okay, well, so how many takes? I mean, if you screw up a line or something comes out
Sometimes
technical,
one.
Just one?
Sometimes we only had one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
We shot during golden hour, so light was super important, and if the sun dropped below a certain level, then that was that. And then also when it gets completely dark, we had a younger actor, and so he had a strict cutoff time. So yeah, we had very, very little goes at making this all work.
Now, did you apply the same concept in the house? I mean, you can tell you're following your subject as well, but you don't know if there's some cheating because there's some fast kind of spinning around. So how did that work in the house?
Yeah, I mean, there's kind of little, stitched together shots, but far less than I think one would think. Often, I mean, there's so many moments too where there's a fight scene, or where Booboo gets hit and falls down, and the camera kind of changes even perspectives, and all of that was, yeah, we really kept constant, and for me it was very important to kind of stay purist to it. So even moments where Booboo walked in the house and maybe it got too dark, we like went back and made sure that there was enough lighting so that you also knew that this is still one take.
And it felt so claustrophobic, and that was the idea of it, right? Yeah. But as far as on the technical side, I mean, was it tough to get around? I mean, did you pick a house or was it a set?
So yeah, it was an actual house that we spent a lot of time, looking for, and then we went in and kind of built onto it and built the production design out. I think the hardest thing is that you see 360 degrees, and you also can't cast shadows. So, these very ornate lighting setups at times had to be very delicately planned, from the onset, so that we didn't have shadows. Diego Cordero, the cinematographer, just did a fantastic job. And what we did is we actually built replicas of the set online, and then would jump into Zoom sessions and walk through, okay, here's where the light is, here's where the camera placement is. Well, we're now going to see that shadow. So we got to rethink where all this stuff sits. and go back it was certainly a lot of quarantine remote work and trying to pre-visualize this to make sure it was right when we got on location.
We did a great job. I mean, big budget films, when they're in the dark, it's like, I can't see a thing, you know?
Yeah, we weren't quite Game of Thrones that was.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, you can see everything. You can see all the action without overblowing, you know, the set. So I thought it was great the way the lighting happened. And then for you, Booboo, going from big budgets, like, you know, you work on the Descendants, you know, where it's a big production, and you kind of go into this, and it's sort of like guerrilla style of filmmaking, right? So for you, was it like transitioning between those kind of big budgets into something kind of intimate like this one?
They both like serve different purposes that like I get a lot from, I guess. I don't know, like they're just so different. You know, it's hard to look. Every time I do a film, I try not to compare anything. But I will say, like, on a project like ours, when we are, you know, limited to only so much, and also we were filming during COVID, so we had a smaller crew because of that, and also technical reasons, you can't see people when your camera's going around, and yeah, I don't know, I find that on smaller films, when there's less like hundreds of people and stuff like that, you really become a family, not just with the actors, but with the crew. We all quarantined together while we were making this movie, the whole crew, like literally everybody. And which was really funny, a lot of the crew members were in relationships, like with the other person on the crew, like from before, they were just like in relationships. So it worked out, everybody, we got to all be in this little hotel together. The owners of the hotel were awesome. They literally were there like every day, and like and we just became a family. So that's something I really, really love about, like, when you take a group of people, a smaller group of people, and you move them to a town that no one knows, and you know, where they're not from, and they're all there to do one thing. It really just creates a unit, and that's the only way a movie like this can be made in my mind. Like, because it creates such great concentration on what you're doing. It's what you're doing. There's nothing else that matters. Like, you're literally just making this thing happen, and that's what happened on our set, and that's what separates it from like bigger films. You know, it's harder for that to happen. There's subdivisions of families, but really to like the whole crew, like literally everybody becomes a family. It's really nice.
And this is a haunted house thriller. And I wanted to ask, well, you said painting. Are those paintings behind you? Are those yours?
No, these are ones I bought.
Oh, okay.
These are from artists I like.
I was going to ask, are you a horror fan?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I love it. I have this room behind me actually is filled with horror memorabilia and like DVDs, and I really, really, really love it. But yeah, I love horror films. I love Friday the 13th. Yeah, I love it all. I really do.
And do I spot, who's that in the corner? You're the little figure.
Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee, I was gonna say, is that Bruce Lee?
Bruce Lee and the Joker is right there.
Oh, okay, cool. So you're a big fan of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm a fan of movies. I literally have a portrait of the Joker tattooed on my shoulder. So.
Oh, wow, you are a big fan. So, I mean, come on, the ideal role would be like a Marvel movie, a DC movie.
I don't know. I mean, like, who knows what it is? You know, I don't know. An ideal role is this, honestly, what we made. Like, that's so ideal. Like, to be able to have so many, we have several genres, like in our one movie. We have no limits to our creative, like, freedom in our film. Like, this is pretty ideal, you know, making a movie with people you really like and working with Rob, and like, that's pretty ideal.
And Booboo, for you, in the movie, there's a girl who says, let's go to a haunted house. In real life, somebody came to you, said, let's go to a haunted house. You would say? No. I know what happens. I know what happens in the situation. I lived through it. So this date ends now. I'm going to go home to my safe apartment and change my number. I am not that desperate.
It depends what night of the week it is. So, let's be honest here. let's
You
be
say
honest.
that, but I feel like if I was like, hey, I found this like abandoned property, you'd be like, yeah, let's do it
Yes.
now.
Let's go. Yeah, it depends where I'm at in life, honestly.
Yeah, that's what in the movie, when you watch in the movie theater, people will yell at the screen like, come on, dude. Don't go.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
You create that tension throughout the movie in the first part of the movie where you're
But
like,
what's
walk
really
away.
cool about it is it's like the way it's brought up isn't like, oh, this is a bad idea. Like it's, she's
She
just
was
like,
tricky.
let's
She
do
was
something
tricky.
else. Like,
Yeah,
it's just
she led you to that road.
I like to think that my character, he maybe thought about it for a little bit. Like, I don't know. Like, he wasn't so easily led into the house with what he thought was gonna happen. All right.
We've had some people review the trailer and they were like, yeah, would this guy go into the house? And then they're like, yeah, I would do that. I would be that guy. I would totally go.
Well, especially if if you don't want people to think you're not a macho man, they're gonna be like, yeah, sure.
There's
I'm
so many
going.
reasons why you can't back down from that
Yeah.
situation.
So true.
Okay, and lastly, Boo Boo, I'm sure your fans want to know: is there another Descendants in the works?
I don't think so. At least not for me.
You're done.
I don't know. Like I love what we did, and what we did was so special, and everyone involved, that it'd be hard to make another one. And I really do think like I love the stamp we left and like what we put into the world, and it's inspired so many like young people to like dance and sing and to be themselves, like truly, which has been so crazy. That's been my favorite part of that, is people telling me all of these stories about watching it and believing in themselves, and just so I feel like I feel very proud of what we've been able to share with the world, and I don't know if I could come back and do it again.